management of resources is as important as the existence of that entrepreneur, the state, or any organization as a whole. And that is why on this show, we don't only dissect this economy, we don't only talk about profiling people, we also bring it down to ensuring that there is a way forward for countries of the world. Welcome to Eco Profiles. Of course, Eco Profiles is that show that we tend to showcase the best of the Nigerian business community and link it up to economies of the world. And I am Bella Kobe. The thrust of today is centered on Nigeria's economy. That's the threats of Nigeria's economy. Stay connected as we dissect. It's business. It's about profit, challenges, demand and supply, risk involved in different business lines. All about profiling of entrepreneurs in the Nigerian business community and how they contribute to the development of the economy. Eco Profiles, showcasing the Nigerian business community. Welcome back. This is still Eco Profiles, a show where we tend to showcase the best of Nigerian economy and then dissect with economies of the world. And today with me, I don't come alone as usual. And I have a guest with me, a high-profile personality. Let me give him the audience and let me give him the privilege, rather, for him to introduce himself. You're welcome to the show, sir.
Thank you, Bella.
Please introduce yourself.
My name is Evans Woherem, Dr. Evans Woherem, and I used to work for First Bank. I was an executive director with First Bank, and I also used to be a deputy managing director of First Interstate Bank before it became merged with the other banks that came together to merge into Unity Bank. Yeah. And at Unity Bank, I was a group executive director before I retired. So now I'm a retired person.
Retired but not tired.
I think so.
That was a nice profile, sir. So when you look at, based on this vast experience that you have, when you look at the country, when you look at Nigeria's economy, what do you have to say in respect to that?
When I look at the Nigerian economy objectively, I must say I am always filled with sadness. I'm filled with sadness because in the 60s, 70s, a lot of us were full of optimism because our country used to be there with countries like Singapore, Indonesia, Malaysia, even Brazil. So it was thought that we were going to be one of the biggest economies of the world. One would have thought that just like most of those countries are developed today, that our own economy is also going to be developed. But that has not been the case. And when you look at our economy today, you don't see any sense of seriousness with regards to issues to do with economic development. And to me, it's all about economic development. Most of what is happening today boils down to economic development.
That were set aside to ensure that the economy is growing or something. Is it that it's not that effective?
It's not effective at all.
So what can make it effective?
Our economy has been growing. At best, it grew about 7 point something. But now, in fact, last year it started growing negatively. Now we've got out, but then we're not even growing up to 1.5%. So it's growing, it's growing very, very slowly. But meanwhile, our population is growing at more than 3.6%.
Exactly, it's growing.
Do you get it? So that being the case, it means that our economy really is suffering. Now, in terms of what to do, there's a lot that can be, done. The question is, are all those things going to be done?
Because from time to time we've got persons, experts coming to talk about things to be done and all that. So where do we miss it? Where do we miss that synergy of actualizing these things to be
Let me tell a story,
Okay.
a little story, permit me.
Okay, sir.
The father of the behavioral school of psychology was a gentleman called B.F. Skinner.
Yeah.
B.F. Skinner at one fora was asked, "Sir, when are we going to have the behavioral science with which to solve all the problems of the world, the behavioral problems of the world?" And he knew that most of all those things were already there. So he told the person, said, it's like going to an agricultural scientist, an expert agricultural scientist, and asking him or her, when are we going to have the agricultural science with which to create a food revolution in the world? The agricultural scientists would say that those sciences are already there. It's just a question of countries making use of those, findings. Similarly, with regard to our economy, all the things that needs to be done to get our economy going are already there. Most people out there know what needs to be done. But the problem is that because we introduce politics into it, because we introduce ethnicity into it, because we introduce regionality into it, as a result of that, we are not taking the growth of our economy very, very seriously.
I would like to strengthen that. The introduction of ethnicity, religiosity, and regionality has drawn our economy backward. So what I love that point, sir. So what can we do to take this thing out of the way? Because Nigeria needs to move forward. And the thing is, the younger generation will not be concerned about what you did that you did not do right, or where you failed. It's just like a child asking his father, you say, I need money to maybe buy a pen or something. Okay, if the father cannot provide the pen, the child is not concerned about why you can't provide the pen.
Absolutely.
It's concerned about, I need this pen. So Nigeria need development. Nigeria needs to move forward. So what is the greatest threat to us right now?
I totally agree with you. Nigeria needs development because it's all about development at the end of the day.
Exactly.
Unfortunately, in ancient Greece, the Greeks, in terms of formulating the democracy ideas that the whole world is, talking about today, said there were 3 types of people.
Okay.
The idiots, the tribespeople, and citizens. We all need to be citizens.
So what
Idiots not because you are stupid, but idiots because you are selfish. The idiots think only about themselves. Do you get it? They can't think beyond themselves, what they can do for themselves, what benefits them. The tribal people can't go beyond what benefits their ethnic group or their religious group or other enclaves they belong to. But a citizen thinks for the whole Commonwealth. All of us, leaders and the led, we have to start thinking like citizens. We have to know that at the end of the day, it is Nigeria. God brought us all and put us in this place that is called Nigeria.
Together.
So we have to make sure that Nigeria works. So to me, it doesn't matter anymore what part I'm from. I don't have to, let's say, insist that whoever is from my own part of the country has to be the person that will lead the country. Because the person might not even if he's there, he's not going to do anything for me. Most of the time, if you even look at the history of Nigeria, he's not also going to do anything for Nigeria. And if that is the case, why do we insist on, choosing people that are only from our own, ethnic groups? That's particularist. We need universal principles to govern how we elect people, how we choose people for employment, and so on and so forth. So those are some of the things that needs to be done.
Okay,
of course, there are so many other things one can also, go on to talk about.
You go further, let's take a break there. Okay. Well, you've been watching Eco Profiles, a show where we tend to bring to you the best of the Nigerian business community. Now, Nigerian stock exchanges appreciated. So how should Nigeria play? Stay connected for these and more after this break. It's business. It's about profit, challenges, demand and supply, risk involved in different business lines. All about profiling of entrepreneurs in the Nigerian business community and how they contribute to the development of the economy. Eco Profiles, showcasing the Nigerian business community. Welcome back. So glad to know you're always with us on this show. Of course, this is Eco Profiles, a show where we tend to bring to you the best of the Nigerian business community. We don't just stop there. We also address issues that concerns economic activities in all over the world. Now, I have with me a gorgeous, distinguished guest, Mr. Evans.
Thank you very much.
So glad to have you on the show, sir. So before we went on break, we were talking about the threats of the threats of Nigeria economy. So would you like to further buttress that?
Yeah, the threat of our economy is painful to me because if we continue doing what we are doing without taking development seriously, invariably that will mean, as so many experts that have looked at it say, it will mean that at the end of the day, if we even continue in this manner, that in 500 years, Nigeria will not have become a developed country. Do you get it? So what that means, in effect, is that things will become even worse, for us.
And
so
the population is growing.
Yeah, the population is growing. So we're now in what is called a cumulative negative spiral, in which you have poor leadership, poor leaders make bad decisions, and as a result, those bad decisions or even good decisions that are not properly implemented.
Because I wanted to come in there because kudos to the government or the government of the Federal Republic of Nigeria. They tried as much as possible to diversify the economy and coming out to strengthening the agricultural sector and other sectors of the economy. Because, obviously, we know that the prices of the oil is dwindling. Nigeria is no longer relying on only oil. So I think the government is trying in order to diversify the economy to further buttress that the economy should stand stronger. So what do you think to that, sir?
I agree with the government there. Nigeria should never have even concentrated solely on oil. There are not many countries out there. In fact, there's practically no country out there that has developed as a result of depending on just one, or even many other natural resources. Rather, it is only when they start developing through what they can do, through their hands and through their brains, that they become developed. Agriculture was something that we used to be very good at. We used to have all those, granite pyramids, palm, kernel, and cocoa, and so on and so forth, to international standards. Like if we continued, with them, and not only with production of all those things, but also being involved in all the value chains, we would have definitely done a lot better.
So what really killed our agricultural sector, if it's definitely it was blooming before, and by this time, from what you said, by this time, if we have continued in that realm, we would have been able to have come out of being an undeveloped country to a developed country. So what really went wrong there?
Unfortunately, oil came. And with the coming of oil and the oil boom in the world, Nigeria started having so many of what I will even call free money, easy money. And as a result of that easy money, then everybody started feeling that working within the civil service or being in government was the most important, thing. And that killed our agricultural.
Excuse me. When you said easy money, we previously we had a guest who is into oil and gas business, and he said there is no money
that is easy.
That is easy, and that it's oil and gas business is a patient kind of business in which when you invest, you don't expect to gain back your investment immediately. So I don't know if this is quick money, then how come? Because I think there's no synergy there.
I wouldn't say he's wrong. At some levels of conceptualizing the whole thing, he is, right. You need to invest, and it doesn't come straight away. The dividends of those investments don't come. You have to wait, for you to start, recouping. But this is something that is buried in our grounds, in our soil, that was given to us by God. Do you get it?
Yes.
And not something that was as a result of the toils of each and every individual in the country. Do you get it?
Yes, yes.
So as a result of that, we found ourselves making a lot more money than we were really as individuals and organizations working.
Okay. So Dr. Evans, you're trying to say that we made more money rapidly. Yeah. That's the issue. Okay, like talking about in a business where you have fast growth, it can be serious to manage. Is that what is happening?
If you have, it's not exactly that. It's not exactly
when you have fast growth. So is that what is happening?
In a manner of speaking, yes. Okay. In companies situations, if as an organization, all of a sudden, you make a lot of money with certain young, not largely experienced human resources you have.
Okay.
And as a result of that, you are now supposed to play at a much higher level, and you still a much higher level that you don't have the experience for. And you still want to run the organization at this new level, but still using the people you have with the little experience you have. It could lead to the business going south instead of going north. So from that point of view, yes, you're right.
Okay. So now that Nigeria Stock Exchange has appreciated, so how should Nigeria play?
Well, Nigerian Stock Exchange has appreciated.
Yes.
The question is,
0.6%.
that appreciation, is it largely as a result of the investments made internally within the country, made by Nigerian individuals and organizations, or is it as a result of portfolio investments made largely from those that are outside of our country? If you unbundle the whole thing, you find out that it's largely as a result of the latter. That is, as a result of portfolio investment. Those investments come quickly, but they also leave our shores also very, very quickly whenever there are certain little perturbations.
So how then do we manage it so that this output can remain? Because the essence of growth is for maintenance.
Absolutely.
So
part of the reasons why those people that bring those investments will take their investments and leave is largely as a result of them not believing in the future of the economy. So we must continue to manage this economy in a very, very serious and productive, manner. Make sure that all those type of people still will continue to feel that their investments are safe. If we do this, then most of those investments, are going to, to be here with us. And a better society, a better economic and business environment will also even encourage people that are within. All this largely is going to bring about a more developed economy.
Okay, sir. We'll take a short break there. because there's something I want us to address in relation of the economy to the common man.
Okay.
And most times when we say the economy has appreciated, the common man is like, I'm not feeling it. So we'll take a short break there. Well, you've been watching Eco Profiles, a show where we tend to bring to you the best of the Nigerian business community at your doorstep. And today I've been speaking with Dr. Evans. So for you to know how the economy development can touch you just right where you are, stay connected. We'll be right back after this break. It's business. It's about profit, challenges, demand and supply, risk involved in different business lines. All about profiling of entrepreneurs in the Nigerian business community and how they contribute to the development of the economy. Eco Profiles, showcasing the Nigerian business community. Thank you for always staying connected to us. Well, on today's show, we've been talking about threats of Nigeria's economy, and I've been speaking with Dr. Evans. So, sir, the boosting of the economy, aside boosting the economy, how can the common man know how the height or greater achievement in the economy can affect him or her?
Yeah. Often, an economy can grow
Okay.
in terms of the GDP. And as a result of that, can even give you a GDP per capita that seems as if the people are now living a lot better.
Okay.
But all those are just calculations that economists do.
Okay.
Yeah. But in terms of trickle down to people in their respective, places, often you don't, see that. The aim for development economies is to ensure that economies are managed and grow in a manner in which that there is, trickle down.
Okay.
So the thing is, for the government to make sure that the economy develops at a rate that is a lot higher than the rate that population growth is taking place.
So how can they achieve that? Because if the government are working hard to enable them achieve a better standard of living for its citizens, so what then do they need to add to make it move faster? Because for us to have a growth, they must have been working towards something.
For us, to have a growth, there are so many things. For example, we have to believe in a particular model we want to follow in terms of development.
So we should
have a think tank.
Okay.
And the think tank will agree that this is the model. We should also have an economic development board that is given the goal, the power to manage, much of what is happening in the economy. That will also even help to coordinate much of what is happening within each of the, ministries. We have to say, look, we must place a lot of emphasis on industrialization, especially an export or import substitution-based, development.
Okay.
Yeah. We have to, say, look, we have to make sure that we have world-class leaders and that we have a sense of urgency in terms of how we are, developing, the country, and that we are going to de-emphasize particularisms for universalisms in how we manage, the economy. Do you get it? These are some of the things that we need to do in order to make sure that at the end of the day, then of course, today we live in a world in which information technology is king.
Exactly.
If any country does not take information technology very seriously, then it means that even in the fourth industrial revolution that is now coming, that is now even enveloping us, that country And especially for places like here in Africa, if we don't take it seriously, it means that we are also going to lose out in the fourth industrial revolution. And to me, that's a very big pity.
But the information technology is growing fast. So how then can we meet up?
Absolutely. It is frightening. The countries that are at the heart of innovating, developing, and giving to the world these information technologies, meaning the Western countries, Japan, China, Europe, those countries are still working so fast, so hard. It's almost like if they're on steroids.
By the day, they're going stronger.
Absolutely, it's almost like if they are running as if they're on steroids. Exactly. Now, meanwhile, we that are already laggards, we are running, as if we are crawling. We need to run a lot faster. Okay. If we are to catch up, with them, we need to put in place those policies, those real seriousness, those sense of urgency that will mean that at the end of the day we'll catch up. If it's only by so doing, so many of the people that are, that are pontificating on these issues are saying that the technologies of the fourth industrial revolution, robotics, driverless, cars, artificial intelligence, machine, learning, data, analytics, and big data, and so on and so forth. All these things are things that we here in the developing countries can also embrace.
But won't it affect the human resources? Because if there are citizens in the country, because Nigeria is a very large country with great population, if robots are being brought in to do some jobs and all that, so what will I be doing? That kind of a thing, that is the question that is coming to an average Nigerian. So what would they do?
It's a question that the whole world is grappling with. Okay. There are two or more ways of looking at that. Okay. One, so many people, if you even go back to the likes of Max Weber, they have often said that technology comes, de-skills and displaces people from their jobs. Yeah? Exactly. This was even what led to the Luddites, those group of people in England who felt that technology was coming to threaten them, and as a result of that, they were destroying technology. Hence, the word Luddism. Do you get it? As people that are afraid or that hate, technology.
Technology or development.
Exactly. But instead of technology displacing people entirely without introducing, new things that will help people, technology did, in fact, the opposite, meaning technology, yes, displaced, workers, the skilled workers, but technology or society also gave people new skills, new things to do, and at the end of the day, there was still plenty for people, to do. A lot of people are arguing that that's also going to be the case, that at the end of the day, yes, we have robotics, we have machine learning, we have artificial intelligence. Artificial intelligence is going to be the new electricity. Electricity powers almost everything in society. Exactly. Tomorrow, everything you can think of, everything. It does. I don't even have to start naming, everything you can think of, embedded will be artificial intelligence, driving it. So in that kind of era, yes, so many people are saying, well, it means that people will not have what to do. As a result of that, so many countries have also started thinking of looking into it. They've even started, there's something called universal salary or something like that, which some countries have started saying that all their citizens have to have, so that you have a job, you don't have a job, there's a salary you have to earn. So that even if tomorrow there's no job for certain categories, of people, there's still something. And because they have means of livelihood, they can now go inside themselves to reach out to those innate skills they have and do things for themselves. Yeah.
Okay, thank you for being part of this show, sir. May you give your advice to the audience?
Well, my advice to Nigerians is that we shouldn't despair. At the end of the day, This is our country. We should all learn to be citizens, not tribal people, not idiots. We should all learn to be citizens so that at the end of the day, we're going to develop this country. If we continue doing what we are doing without any changes, at the end of the day, we're not going to see development even in 500 years. And to me, this is going to be a very big pity. And that's the reason why in some of my other postulations, I'm even daring to recommend three things. One is what I call twinning of countries. Countries can twin with one another. Nigeria can twin with other developed countries, with Germany, with China, as our development partners. Apart from twinning, I'm also postulating that we have to do a lot of concessioning, whereby a lot of things are concessioned out and given to those countries that can do them very well. And thirdly, we should have open borders in this country. That's what America had that attracted a lot of people into America. And that's what even Canada is doing today. And that's what a lot of countries, we should be bold to allow a lot of open, border in terms of making it possible for so many people from different other parts of the world to come and settle in Nigeria. By so doing, their ingenuity, their money, and everything will also be part of us. This, to me, is how we can assure development. Thank you very much.
All right, thank you so much for being part of our day, sir.
Thank you.
I hope when next we invite you, you're going to show up.
Thank you very much. No problem.
All right, sir.
Okay.
Thanks for being part of our day. Of course, you're so important to us, and we have you in mind. And that is why this show is designed to discuss business lines, to discuss economics of the world, to discuss how we can make the world better. Now, if you are a business-minded person, you will be concerned. You will be very, very concerned about your country. And that is why we talked about the threats of the Nigerian economy. All right, until next time, I am Bella Kobe.